take them all out for the big bounce off the bottom. That's a big shakeout. This is what happens to the bulls when they got that exuberance.
I can't even keep up with the TikTok.
All right, we're in bear market. We told you people not to get involved in that. Whoa, look at that.
Good evening, stock traders, and welcome to another edition of Stock Traders Talk Radio here on a beautiful Monday night, January the 23rd, 2012. I'm your host, STT. Joining me on tonight's program, I have Mr. Haas.
How's it going, Mike?
Fantastic, sir. How about you?
I'm doing all right. It's good to be back on the show consistently for the week.
It's good to have you back on the show, sir.
1 for 1 Monday.
You missed Sunday, though. So you're
I did. I was playing hockey. Come on.
1 for 2. 1 for 2. All right, at least it's not bowling. But we won't go there tonight.
Maybe we will. Later in the show if we have time.
Oh, one of the hosts is out there bowling as we speak. Also, oh my God, I'm never going to get through the show now. All right. Also joining me on the program tonight, we have Mr. Cop.
What's going on, gentlemen?
How you doing, sir?
Loving it. What could be better?
What could be better? Not much. Not much. Out here doing a radio show again here.
I think we were just joined by Nickel.
Yeah, we had to have been because listen to him.
Is he calling in from a cell phone? Is that what he's doing?
Lovely.
He's on his so-called computer at home. Nickel, are you going to join us?
You already got my nickname back, wide open feedback. Is it that bad?
Do you like do that on purpose? Is that the whole idea?
No, honestly, I don't hear the feedback, so I'd like to apologize. I mean, to me, it sounds normal on my end. Maybe it's just me.
It's actually, Nickel, it is normal. No, there's nothing wrong with it at all. It's sounding great.
He does sound pretty good right now. You got to give him that.
All right, for this moment, yeah, sounds beautiful. Nickel, hit us with a couple of words.
Yeah, he's done.
No, I'm here.
Oh, he is.
I just want to make sure that you'd be able to join us for the show tonight.
Yeah, I'm good. Unless if it really gets bad, obviously, you know what to do. You know the drill.
Okay. Here's a little suggestion for you.
Shutdown sequence initiated. Shutting down.
That might help. Might help a little bit. We'll see what happens. Okay, let's move on. Nicholas,
this really is a serious stock show, believe it or not.
Okay. Last night's stock spotlight here on STT Radio was MMTE. MMTE. I believe all of us, well, not all of us, 2 of us said buy, and 1 of us said hold. Unfortunately, the person that said hold could not join us tonight because he was feeling under the weather. And I'm sure because he lost, but he's feeling a little under the weather. But myself and Cop both called a buy on MMTE last night, and we both got it right. Mr. Cop, how you feeling about that?
Starting to streak again. I like that.
You gonna get back on the roll again?
Oh, I'm rolling right along. What do I got? Like 2 losses all year?
Yep.
I can deal with that.
Yep. I think if I remember correctly, you're 11 for 13.
That's pretty good.
What am I?
You are, oh my God. Let's see here. You want updates? I'll update everybody. Real quick.
Oh, you don't have to go and look. You don't have it off the top of your head.
You are 9 for 11.
Yeah, I don't want an update because I know I'm playing catch up, so I'm trying to be the odd guy right now.
Yeah, I'm going to update you anyway.
Thanks. I'm like 5 of 9, 5 of 10.
So anyway, tonight we are spotlighting another ticker. Anybody know what that ticker is?
PAOS.
PAOS. That is exactly correct. PAOS is tonight's Stock Spotlight here on STT Radio. Mr. Kopp, why don't you get us started on PAOS, sir?
All right, Precision Aerospace Components, Inc., stock ticker PAOS. This is going to be some very extensive DD. There's a lot of stuff out there, and trying to put it all in the 15 minutes is very difficult. A lot of the boards have a lot of good information. The actual IHUB board has some great stuff. So let me give you some key facts right from the get-go. They're a fully SEC filer, audited, OTC QB company. OS is right now at $2.865 million, and the last update on that was September 30th, 2011. All right, so what do? They're a provider of quality aerospace components. The company's vision is to build a leading aerospace component fabrication and service business. Management plans to grow the company through a combination of product line expansions and strategic acquisitions. Now, Precision Aerospace Components, first acquisition was Frunlich Supply, Inc., located in New York, well-known distributor in the North America aerospace fastener industry. It's actually been operating since like the 1940s, has over like 7,000 SKUs, state-of-the-art 18-square-foot distribution facility. So a lot of stuff like that. That website is FRESUPCO.com. And then you have precisionaerospacecomponents.com as well. Big thing on the filings that's happened, you got a lot of Form 4s popping out of there. I actually went through the last quarterly, the last Form 10Q, which was in September. Looks like they got the next date of, let's call it March 14th, to when the results for the fiscal year 11 will come out. So let me keep rolling here. So they maintain an inventory of approximately 20 million parts, premium quality brand nut products. It's one-stop source for standard, self-locking, semi-special, and special nuts manufactured in several military, aerospace, and equivalent specifications. Now, the key thing to know about this is a lot of this stuff is they track it from beginning to end. Do you guys ever hear of co-sale? Do you know what that is?
Not familiar.
All right, basically, when you deal with Pentagon and contracts and military sales and those type of things, you kind of have two things. One's called a co-sale, one's called a Q co-sale. And it's kind of like your part system. It's where you put, it's your consumables list of stuff, parts, and this stuff would fall in that category. Now, Q stock basically means it goes into something that's very extremely expensive or highly perforable or something that could cause a national security issue, kind of like a nuclear reactor systems, anything to do with nuke stuff. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so any part of those is tracked from beginning to end, meaning from the birth of that cycle to, the packaging, to the, manufacturing of it, the distribution of it, to it going in equipment and it coming back all the way to the end until its destruction. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Source material is the big deal of a lot of that. Well, they do a lot of this type of stuff. So, of course, they're they're big into this. So let me go. They hold ISO 9001 and AS 9100 certificates, fully traceable material certifications. Pretty much kind of like what I just described. The other PAOS brand is Tiger Tight. There's a couple videos that floating out there that basically describe all of that. It's all about nuts and bolts and those type of things, but it's big business. And I went through the share structure. Approximate float. Insiders hold about 1.955360 shares. So 1.9 million shares is what the insiders hold. So you're looking at a float of approximately 1 million. AS was 100 million as of September 30th. And shareholders of record looks like right around 230, somewhere right around there. But that's old data from March, and it's had as you guys know, it's had a lot of buzz recently, hence why it's on the show. most recent quarterlies, the revenue was $1.9 million. The gross profit was $642,000. Net profit $79,000. So earnings per share is right around 3 cents. The cash equivalents was $1.2 million. Basically, you look at the as far as the share structure and those type of things, the market cap's pretty much a joke. So if you look at cash per share, it's right around 35 cents realistically. Book value $1.25, $1.25 is what it would be as of September 30th. Current assets $5.3 million. Here's a big plus. Company has no notes to sell, right? Meaning no dilution. They got no long-term debt and line of credit. The company has none as of September 30th.
Amazing.
Yeah, is this a pink company we're talking, or an OTCBB type company? Well, QB, but a little odd, right? So you go through a lot. Like I said earlier, they've done a lot of stuff with contracts and those type of things, right? You guys know how that works? You guys know what DUN number is?
No.
No? Okay. DUN, basically, how do I explain this? Right. It's Dun and Bradstreet is what it is, and it's an informational for credit marketing, purchasing decisions. So it's kind of like a universal numbering system, and it's something that's used by like 70 million businesses, used for military, and anything DoD federal. Well, you have this DUN number. It basically applies to contracts and those type of things. So let me give you the DUN number, because you guys know when we do these DD sessions, there's a couple key things that you always want to look for. And looking up the name or somebody from the company is not always the best thing. So the DUN number is 012539888. All right, you guys got that? All right, so keep on going here with you. So that's the DUN number on that. I got my my desk in my office area has got like 1,000 pieces of paper running all over the place, so bear with me. It's pretty extensive to get into this, and the reason why I'm digging so deep into this is because this company had over $31 million in contracts from through the government from 2000 to 2010. Now in 2010 they actually had over $4 million in contracts. So it's growing drastically. So the biggest customer is the Department of Defense. So let me run through a couple of those things. Okay, the company's Tiger Tight. Well, Fruenlich, its subsidiary, right, which is a wholly owned subsidiary, has a locking washer called Tiger Tight, for which it has exclusive North American distribution rights. Washers are used in demanding vibration applications, all kinds of equipment that would be associated with the military. So basically, I guess the best way to describe it is that, the companies are kind of like they're a niche player, very fastener industry, as far as, highly fabricated stuff that, needs to be controlled. It's also a one-stop source for standard self-locking, semi-special, and special nuts manufactured in aerospace and equivalent specifications. I went through the SKUs and the amount of parts and those type of things that they actually have. But like some of the big customers, and I'll just rattle off some names here for you: Sikorsky, Bell Helicopter, Boeing, Dassault. Some pretty big names. And as you guys know, the way I look at this is kind of like this: nuts and bolts, fasteners. It doesn't really sound too sexy, does it?
No, but if you got the contracts in place, it's huge business.
And that's the deal. It's big money. And being very close to the DoD and involved in the DoD, let me tell you a little secret that maybe a lot of people don't believe. The military spending will be cut drastically. Believe it, it's going to happen. Budget concerns that are going to happen over the next year and the following year and the following year after that are going to be very, very directive. Now, when that happens, a key thing that goes is you're not building new stuff. You're maintaining, you're fixing, you're refurbishing the stuff that you have. All kinds of stuff. to get the most life out of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at something like, let's use the P-3 Orion as an example, the aircraft was supposed to be around for, 25 years? Does that sound about right there, Nickel? And, it's right now at 50 years or 40 years. So, the inspections and certain things you got to do, you just got to keep replacing certain things. And, fasteners and nuts and bolts are all a big, big, big part of that. But, I want to kind of go to the next step I'm going to go to the people involved in this company. And this is really one of the main reasons why when I told you guys this is the company I wanted to do. I'm going to read you something, and I want you guys to tell me your first opinion after I'm done, okay? All right. The CEO, his name is Andrew Prince, right? He's got an MBA, JD, and has been a chief executive officer and president of Precision Aerospace Components since January 18, 2007. Now, Mr. Prince has been CEO and president of public and private companies and managing member and chief operating officer of private equity fund, managing member of investment banking and consulting firm, and senior government official. Mr. Prince has been a principal of Prince Strategic Group, LC, for the last 5 years, a strategic advisory and merchant banking group. He served as principal financial officer of Precision Aerospace Components, Inc. Mr. Prince served as chief executive officer and president of Solar Satellite Communications, Inc. from December 7, 2001 to April 10, 2002. He was a manager of venture capitalist fund and investment banking and consulting firms. Right? Mr. Prince also served as Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Navy. He was responsible for the worldwide Defense Department Sealift Logistics Operations and other operations regarding Military Sealift Command. You guys may know that as MSC. He's a retired Naval Reserve captain whose responsibilities include 2 years as commanding officer of a submarine support facility. That's, remember where I went into that whole QCO sale thing, right? All submarines have reactors, right? Mr. Prince also was an attorney with a major Wall Street law firm and is admitted to practicing before New York State courts, federal courts, and the United States Supreme Court. He's been the director of Solar Satellite Communications since 2001 and Precision Aerospace Components since January 2007. I think I said that. He serves as a director. Now, here's where I kind of want to twist some things up. Director of Gibbs & Cox, Inc. Mr. Prince he's a member of the advisory board for technology of National Capital Companies. He served as director of Arcados Group, Inc., formerly CDKnet.com, from 2004 to 2006. He's a graduate of the United States Naval Academy, earning his BS in mathematics and physics. He's United States Naval Submarine School and Navy Nuclear Power Program. He received his JE and MBA degrees from Harvard Law School and Harvard Business School, respectively. Now, that is a damn resume.
That is absolutely insane. Insane is what I get from that.
So
unreal.
When they tell you to put the top 10 things together and you got them all in one resume, all right. So clearly, what does that all mean? All right, let me tell you what that means. I'm going to put it in a nutshell. One, you go to the Naval Academy. You are extremely connected to a lot of smart people in a lot of key places and a lot of very powerful and influential families. Two, you go to Harvard Law School. Same exact situation. You go into the military and you do that entire side, and the whole thing happens to you the exact same way. So when you sit there and you look at submarine force, program management, logistics, military sealift command, which is in the entire damn world, you're kind of getting the idea of exactly how connected this guy is. So I want to go into that a little bit. Give me 1 second while I pull this up. I just kept saving everything. I got like so many links, it's nuts. All right, you guys ever use Benchmark?
Rarely.
No? Okay, how about any of your Business Week stuff? Yes, no, kind of?
No, kind of.
All right, okay. Jeez, seriously? All right. Needless to say, when you go through let me give you the first one. Fedmine.us, all right, you guys ever hear that? Fedmine.us basically gives you, that's where you can go and you can look at that dumb number and you can get all kinds of contracts and you can see the amounts, right? It will give you who is buying all their stuff. And normally it goes to category 97 AS, 9700, 1700, which really means who in the government is buying stuff. So, example, 9700 would be defense. 1700 would be Navy. 97 Alpha Sierra is Defense Logistics Agency, DLA. All right. Now, DLA is a big procurement of a lot of your government stuff. I mean, you got DSCP too, but that's not so much on the part world. Well, in 2010, they had 3.46 million. 2009, they had 2.18 million. So you're seeing drastic growth on this through the DLA side of the house. Key thing to know, right? And mainly a lot of things that keeps coming is over is on the Richmond side of the house. Let me see, what am I getting here? The AIMD. Oh yeah, that's a good point. I'm kind of getting a little heads up on something. It's a maintenance depot, basically aviation on a carrier has to cover parts for 50 to 60 fighters to get to for the aircraft carrier going away. This means they order by bulk. 13 carriers east, 13 carriers are 13 west plus amphibs, helos, AVB. A lot of different stuff to where you have to keep stock. Now, depending on what it is, it's kind of a lot of these things when you deploy, they're called like pack-up kit or ready service spares, those type of things. So not only are you actually buying to put into the aircraft or the machinery or whatever the case is, you're also buying for stock in case something breaks. It's all that precautionary maintenance that they can do actually, at the it's called the intermediate level. Depot would be actually someplace on land and those type of things. You guys following me with all that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, what's my next thing I want to go through? All right. Do we have the chart up? Let's do that real quick. Okay. Give me 1 second. Hey, let's talk about while I'm pulling up the chart. Let's talk about these 4 and 4s. You guys know what 4 and 4 is, right? Basically, insider buying.
Yep.
Okay. You had it's very interesting the way this kind of works out. Same 4 board members have been, with the company for a while, from what I'm tracking here. And when you sit there and you look at it, on January 6th, you had 4 Form 4s. Then and where they were buying shares at 0.02. Then they came out on January 20th, a couple days ago, and they were buying more shares at 0.07. And I'm talking large blocks. So let me give you this one. This is Andrew Stephen Prince, who's the CEO, of course. The total amount of securities, underlying derivative security, amount of number of shares was, let me double check here, is 6,989,833. So we're not talking small stuff here, right? When it comes to that. You guys good with the financials? You want me to go through any of that?
No, I think we're good with it.
Yep.
All right. Bottom line is they're making money. It's increasing, and it's going up drastically in compared to the debts to what they've done in the past. And as far as the OS, no debt. Okay. So you're looking at all the assets. I kind of gave you what the asset plans are and those type of things. Now, the kind of the thing about the Department of Defense, it's as far as the acquisition of fasteners and all that type of stuff, I don't have that information to know what the Department of Defense as a whole is going to need. Each service buys certain things based off what their needs are, and every company bids on certain contracts, and they kind of try to share the wealth with that. So there's never going to be one company that is going to be the one that, hey, we're going to be your fastener need for everything. It just doesn't work like that. Let me go through what's the next thing I want to cover here. Oh, by the way, something I want to note. I love when people do DD, right? They research companies to the nth degree. Well, if you actually go on iHub and you go through a lot of stuff, Blue and a couple other guys got some real good stuff here, to include Google Earth pictures of every last little thing they have. So if you see somebody walking outside, it's probably one in the company, and they're going to track them down. So that's pretty. it's pretty extensive what they actually got going. What they got going down. All right, now that's the background of the company as a whole. Now let's talk about what is going on. Now, in the world of stocks in the OTC, it's not always the fact that a company, a company's not always evaluated based off exactly what their earnings are and those type of things. Even though clearly this company's going to have a very good year, and I think what they lack is a lot of people don't know the company. I mean, if you saw these numbers with any OTC company, normally you'd be jumping at it, right? I mean, it would just make sense because, I mean, it's a proper valuation, reduced risk, and, you're not being risk averse to the situation, and you're kind of, it's an investment more than a trade. That's the way you would look at this. So what happens over that? Normally, when you don't have the interest, stock kind of lingers at a certain price, and then as it becomes the supply and demand equation, where the demand isn't very much because a lot of people don't know what's going on with the company. Well, recently, over the course, it looks like I'd say the last few months, slowly but surely, you get a couple investors, get a couple more, and you can tell how thin it's trading because it's going up. So today it actually closed, what's it look like, 0.01, and it was actually up to 0.014, it looks like.
10 cents.
Or 10 cents, I'm saying that wrong, yeah, thanks. 10 cents and was actually up to 13 or 14 cents, and ended up closing at 10 cents. So it was up 24.84% on 128 million in volume. Now, I like following the money, as you guys know, and you can see that it's absolutely increasing over time, and it's getting more and more attention, which, is a big, big plus. Now, I'm sure the Foreign Fours brought a lot of extra interest to that. I mean, why would people in this company who, with resumes like that, keep buying a large blocks and keep, they want their company. They want to control their company, and they believe they got a huge investment.
Well, there's no other news to go off of. I mean, all of a sudden you start seeing all these Foreign Fours, a couple of weeks apart, and everybody's wondering what's coming. Something big is coming,
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, and that's the thing too. I mean, you look at the management. I mean, the board of directors is no slouch. I mean, they got Andrew Prince, the one I was telling you about with his resume, and you got Alexander Krager, Robert Adler, and Donald Barger, and they've been there for a little while. This is not like a new team out of the Precision Aerospace course is out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. The other companies out of Staten Island, New York. You know about anything about that there, STT?
As far as the area talking about?
Yeah, do you know Staten Island? You probably do, don't you?
Not really, to be quite honest with you.
Isn't it like anybody from New York? They kind of like know everything, don't they?
No.
Oh, jeez.
All right, I'll help you in Staten Island. All I know is it's on the way to Atlantic City. I passed through it.
All right, so let me. I wanted to bring the chart up for you guys too, right? Okay. Basically, I like using StockCharts.com. Yeah, I'm not going to go into any of the very deep technicals. I like pattern and trend and those type of things. And realistically, TA to me is history in a lot of facets. But you can see that it started no volume there for a long time. Started getting some right in around the end of October, a little bit in November. But we're talking like 100,000 shares. We're talking very, very, very low. But it was trading up over 30 cents. Kind of dove down to, it looks like 0.02, a couple little volume kicks in there in the beginning of December, rallied back up to the 0.04, 0.06 area, little volume, slowly started bringing it back down to the 0.02 over, looks like December 12th week, and then, really, hardly anything, then volume, hardly anything, then volume, so you can tell there's interest slowly trickling in. Well, then on the, January 9th, I guess it is, maybe 10th or 11th, right around there, you started getting a volume spike. And that volume spike is not even what we would consider a volume spike, but it is for this chart. 750,000 is not what I would consider a volume spike. But it is for this stock because it's the most it's ever traded. And then you get the white candle all the way up, screams up to about the 18 area, comes up a little bit, then you get a little kickback back down, and looks like it dropped down to the 0.08. 0.06 area, and then started a nice little increase today. But the volume that we're dealing with is under 200,000 on an average, which, when you follow the money, money can move anything in a lot of cases. So you can see that you're starting to get the attention. And, with March right around the corner, they come out with more contracts and more financials to the plus side. I think you're going to see a big rally coming here with this stock. And, the insiders don't buy money or don't invest in their own company to that degree after they already own a huge amount of shares, right? So they're eating up the float themselves. Kind of makes you wonder if they're trying to buy everything up to go private, to tell you the truth. I mean, it's 1 million float. That's not a lot.
That's a very small amount.
Right. And that could be, that very well could be the route that they're going. That, they don't want to share. I don't know. I'm just spitting that out there because it, kind of makes sense to the way the way the volume and all of those things are working.
Well, I mean, think about it. Think about it for a second, though. You have a director who has so many connections in the financial and venture capital world. I mean, one big fund gets on this, they can lock up the float in a second and run this thing to who knows where. I mean, especially with a balance sheet as clean and promising as this one looks. Absolutely.
But let's dive into. I kind of want to end it when that's the chart for what it is. I mean, that's the best information it's going to tell you. But trend is up after today. So it looks like it bellied out and then it's starting its climb back up. I want to really dive into Andrew Prince. Right. I just gave you guys the resume per se of what it is, his background, and but. I talked about his board membership, and I said Gibbs and Cox Inc., right? Mm-hmm. And, I kind of want to talk about when Gibbs and Cox. Now, when this is a pretty big company, it's basically, this is anybody that's in the Navy knows a lot about this. They provide ship engineering, design services for Navy, government agencies, shipyards, interrogators, commercial marine clients, you name it, the whole damn thing. And it's pretty big. I'm talking HVAC, NSV, propulsion system design, structural engineering, you name it, huge amounts of stuff. So when, this is as senior as I am in the Navy, when this is be the guy I'd be calling sir in a lot of situations because I'm sure it's just the way it works. But I want to talk about some things and I'll give you an example. Gibbs and Cox named Vice Admiral Paul Sullivan, U.S. Navy, retired to its board of directors recently. That actually just happened back in September. And, he was unanimously elected to the firm's board of directors. Extensive operational Navy engineering and all that stuff. Admirals, admirals run around the Pentagon area in those circles of Congress and D.C. and all that other type of stuff, and they're pretty big wigs. I mean, I think we can all attest to that. These are the circles that this CEO runs in, and these are the people that get their foot in the door and are able to make decisions when it comes to procurement, to contracts, and all of that. And one thing that I'd like to point out on their site is they have a code of ethics, and they don't have a lot of stuff on their site, and clearly they don't need to. If you want fasteners, there's a phone number, but there's a code of ethics on there that's 8 pages long, and that's a big deal because when you deal with different services touching contracting and all of that, is you don't want somebody in a position because of their job, somebody's going to feed him back again really bad. That's okay. When basically what's ends up happening is you don't want somebody because of their job allowing somebody a foot in the door like you're hooking up your buddy. So there's a whole bunch of checks and balances when it comes to that. I mean, there's been a lot of people go to jail for many, many years by not ensuring that. So transparency and ethical background, this guy is clearly all about that, which lends to the other side of it, which tells me if that's how he operates his company, then I'm sure that's how he operates his stock. Now, I'm just making that assumption, but normally, you would think they would operate in the same way. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Yeah, but I think that's the one last thing. I know I'm hoarse. Let me give you one more thing because this is important.
Who is that feeding back? Do we know?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's Nickel.
Kick him off. Kick him off.
That's not good. All right, so I want to go to when investingbusinessweek.com is a very good resource to where you're able to get connections of people, right? And everyone should use this. Now, I've told you guys over time, use phone numbers. Don't use names. Use phone numbers. Use certain things to where it's very difficult for somebody to change, like tax ID code. That's a really good one. So and if you want to know where that is, if you go to any quarterly filing or anything like that, on the very first page, you'll have an IRS number, which in their case is 20.20 TAC 4769096. That's what you look up. Then you can find all kinds of amazing things, right? Instead of looking up and typing in the word Precision Aerospace Components Inc. Little tidbit, but use those things. All right, so when you go to investing.businessweek.com, where you're researching stocks and people and their relationships, basically, you have all these tabs. One's a snapshot, news, charts, financials, earnings, people, ownership, transactions, and options. I want to go to people. And the reason why I want to go to people is because I want to tell you the people that he's connected to. Kevin Moak, Carol Smith, Edward Daffin, Paul Sullivan. Right? You remember all these names I just rattled off? Former admirals. So let's pick one. I'm going to pick one. Let's go with the very first one, Kevin Moak. All right, so I'm going to just open that up. I'm going to basically open up his resume. Let's see what we got. Kevin Moak served as the president of Gibbs & Cox, Inc. Mr. Moak served as the vice president of programs at Gibbs & Cox. Mr. Moak has been the chairman of Gibbs & Cox since March 2002. He has 30 years of experience in marine industry to his position, including ship design, system engineering, and platform system integration for a broad range of U.S. and international customers. His personal portfolio at Gibbs & Cox includes extensive experience in program management, corporate management, strategic planning, customer relations, business development, Navy architecture, structural design, exploratory concept and feasibility studies, contract, preliminary, and detailed design. During his tenure in that position, Gibbs & Cox, Inc. successfully performed engineering design services under multiple contracts valued in excess of U.S. $100 million. He serves as a director. Mr. Moak graduate from the University of Michigan. And it goes through all kinds of stuff. And then you get phone numbers, and then you get new addresses, and you get all these other things. Then you search them, and you tie these connections together, and it's amazing how many deals are probably happening over a glass of cognac. All I'm saying is this. PAOS has the goods, they got the businesses, and they definitely got the connections to continue to do this. And, and as the budgets decrease, I think that's more in their favor than anything else. Any more questions, gentlemen? That is the extent of my DD.
It's like a melting pot of success for this company, Kyle.
I think so. I think there's, the 24% got us. I mean, that's what really got us. And then the Navy thing was like, okay, what the hell's going on here? So, potentially, I think we may have found one pretty early here.
Yeah, for sure. Wow, really good stuff. Again.
Hey, Cop.
Yes.
There's a question on the board. I don't know if you'll be able to answer or not, but I'll read it to you.
Okay.
You ready? I'll leave out the first part, okay? The question is, how does the CEO own more shares than the outstanding share number?
Oh, that's a great question. Which means the outstanding share number is wrong. It's the only thing that could be. He can't own that. They would have put a different thing on there if it was preferred or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
What did I say what the AS was? Let me go back here.
You have to keep in mind our most recent share structure update is from back in later 2011. So these conversions are obviously going to raise the OS.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that.
And purchases,
Correct. No doubt about it. When I read that OS to you guys, basically I gave you what was accurate from a filing and what was on OTC QB.
So basically, what those Form 4s are is these CEOs and the management had options to purchase shares.
Correct, and you got to remember how that works, right? When you have somebody that's doing this, and they tell you what they're doing. They're doing acquisitions of companies that it's kind of like they're creating a monopoly. right? I mean, they're getting these small little pieces and tying them together, but when you look at the fastener company, that's not exactly a small company when you're talking $31 million worth of contracts over the course of 7 or 8 years. And if they pop that another 4 to 6 million, that's where I'm looking for. Is I want to see them increase that 4 million that they're averaging and get that to 6 million. They get that to 6 million. There's some crazy stuff getting ready to happen here with this company. So I hope that answers your question. But yeah, it's got to be more. There's no doubt about that. Mm-hmm. But they're definitely holding their shares. I mean, the volume, you look over time, you're not getting any of them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be so surprised that if they might get too many investors in here to where you lock the float.
Yeah, it'll be tough. Liquidity might get pretty low if you got a couple of tight holders in there, especially large ones with the small float and the small share structure.
Right, and plus shares and the company advisors and them who's building the business, gives them leverage on a lot of things from an acquisition standpoint. And that's the part why I wanted to dive into that a lot. When it comes to this circle that these gentlemen are running in, people want to get near them too. They want their business. So, in a lot of cases where it's kind of funny because I mentioned that strategic consulting side, right? And I didn't want to, I dove deep into this. I've been messing around with this stock for quite a few hours now. But when you look at the Solar Satellite Communications Inc., where that was SSCI from a long time ago, where he stopped being the CEO, and I look back and I like looking at the shells, meaning I want to know who owned the shell, who transferred the shell, and how somebody else got the shell. Yep. And that company, like I don't know if you remember the names, Michael Anthony out of Colorado and J.C. James, right? You remember any of those names from years ago? Well, that was one of those shells. So I'm digging. I want to find something wrong with this company, and that's my goal because you never believe that everything's on the up and up and everything's good to go. But that was where I wanted to go with that. And the other guy in that circle that I probably should have mentioned is Riley Repko, which is he's on but the key thing where he comes in is a lot of these guys are on some pretty serious and significant national boards, and he's a huge IT guru, but he's on the Federal Cyber Advisory Board, and I just kind of these are the guys that he's partnering with and making businesses with, and clearly he wants to keep his nose clean, and as such, I mean his resume says it all. If you don't think that guy's going to make money, I don't know who the hell is.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I hope that answers your question, Mike.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Okay. Well, we're at that part of the show where we got to decide, is it a buy, a sell, or a hold? And I'm going to start with Mr. Cobb since he has all the information.
I don't really have all the information. I mean, I did the DD that I could. Right. I want to know what I really, one thing I want to know is I kind of answered that question. If clearly the OS has increased or their preferred shares. I didn't actually find that anywhere. So they could be convertible.
No, there's an answer on the board. There's an answer on the board if you want me to read it.
Yeah, please do.
It's Series A convertible preferred stock.
Okay. All right. You guys find a flaw in my DD. I'll do better next time. All right. Then that answers the question. Beautiful.
I mean, that's basically what we were talking about, a preferred option to convert to common stock.
Right.
They weren't options, but in a sense they are.
I mean, let's be fair about it. You have a few hours before the show to do what you need to do. And, I think you did an awesome job. So
you did a fantastic job.
I'm sure there's overlooks every once in a while.
Yeah, definitely. No doubt. It's a good one. All right. Well, I can tell you this. Even with the 24% up, I see the volume increasing. I am a definite buy on this stock. Okay. I'm a buy on this stock tomorrow in the short term and the long term.
Sure.
And the main reason is I cannot find anything wrong with the damn company. And it's really kind of torquing me. I always find something wrong with the company. So, here, how that goes for me. I'll be digging all night long, looking for something bad, and, we'll see how it goes. But, in all my tips and tricks of digging and searching down little rabbit holes, I didn't find anything wrong. And the balance sheet is nice. I mean, no debt. They can't even, nothing. Seriously? and they're filing everything, and they're audited. I mean, you guys should check this out. You guys really should. For anybody that wants to use a good example of what a 10Q should look like, go to PAOS and download theirs, and then all your other OTC companies copy it. I mean, make sure you have the exact. Make sure you have some information to be able to put in there. But they go in through the whole damn thing. Their net income, how they, what they believe, and why their business plan is going in this direction. Why they paid this down. I mean, they describe. I mean, they really, really give the proper tools to a shareholder to be able to make a competent, educated decision.
Oh, it's unreal. You don't see balance sheets like this in the over-the-counter market that are this clean and, this promising, for that matter, especially, considering like book value and things like that, severely undervalued. Yeah, it's really, it was really a joy to actually get something that nice, but I'm a buy.
Okay. Hostile, I even need to ask.
Well, when Cop does, the sort of DD he just did, he always convinces me to buy, but I agree with him. It was pretty green today, but it looks like it's bouncing up off of a little pullback there from the big spike, and the volume is low enough today to where I think the volume will keep increasing, and I don't see holding it down. Accumulation is still pretty strong. I think we're rebounding to new highs pretty soon.
Okay. All right, so you are a buy.
Buy.
And I don't want to rock the boat at all. The trend is my friend. I will stay with a buy also.
Boring.
I know. So I can't lose pace, too much more pace to you guys.
We need Sissy on here. He would call a hold for sure.
Oh yeah. For those that missed any portion of tonight's 45-minute Stock Spotlight here on STT Radio. 45 minutes of solid DD. The only thing we didn't learn is what the CEO's favorite food is.
Oh, it's apples.
Oh, there we go. So now we know that. Okay. Fantastic stuff. For those that missed any portion of that DD session, give us to about 9:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will have it up on YouTube.
Mike?
What?
I need to interrupt you for 1 second. Sippy just chimed in from his computer. He's calling a sell.
Oh,
he's trying to get an edge. That's awesome.
Okay. So I'm going to put Siffy down for a sell. Hey, Siffy, since you're listening, I want you to know that I left you as a buy and I gave you a bonus point. So you got one up from last night's show. Okay, where was I? Oh, okay. Tonight's DD session, if you missed any portion of it, you will be able to hear it approximately 9:45 in video format on YouTube, Investors Hub, and, of course, StockTradersTalk.com. Now, coming up on the show tomorrow night, we have a fantastic CEO interview for you. Then Wednesday, another Stock Spotlight, and Thursday, another CEO interview. So look forward to those 3 days coming up. We're going to take a small commercial break here in the radio show, and we'll be back with Stocks in Focus, and then we might even mention who the CEO interview is for tomorrow. Maybe. We shall see when we get back. We'll be right back after these words.
PennyChatterStocks.com, where our network becomes your game. There is no need for 6 or 7 sites to track your penny stock buzz. You've got chat, forums, blogs. You can integrate your Twitter, Facebook, Google+, MailChimp emailers all on one site so that your following comes with you. All it comes down to is the network, www.pennychatterstocks.com.
Sweetheart, now you're getting a little bit older. What do you want to do when you grow up?
Daddy, when I get older, I want to flip stocks.
You want to flip stocks? Well, how are you going to go about flipping stocks?
StockLegends.com, duh.
StockLegends.com? I heard that they have the best stock picks around.
Of course we do, Dad. Time is money. I gotta go.
on tonight's program, we have Mr. Haas and Mr. Kopp. Guys, you back with me?
Yep,
yes, sir.
back with you.
Fantastic. And just to update the record because I like it on the recording, Mr. Nichols says that PAOS is a buy tomorrow.
Good call, Nickel.
Yep, he's smart.
We gotta work on his computer issues, but we'll get him on the show hopefully tomorrow. Now,
yeah, we need him. He brings some good stuff to the table.
Oh yeah.
Good asset.
Okay, now tomorrow we have a CEO interview. Haas.
Do
you know who that is?
I do. It's actually Global Digital Solutions, ticker GDSI.
GDSI is tomorrow.
Correct.
Are we allowed to stretch out till Thursday's interview?
Not at the current time, no.
Not at the current time. Okay.
Am I going to know, or am I?
No, we're keeping you out of the loop. You'll know day of, buddy.
Oh, man.
And the ticker symbol again for tomorrow was?
GDSI.
GDSI.
G is in girl, D is in dog, S is in Sam, I is in indigo.
I is in indigo. I used that when I got in trouble for it.
Why?
I don't know. I don't think it's correct military jargon.
I is in illegal. Does that work?
That works better.
I is a tough one, isn't it?
It's India.
India's good. I like India.
And then P's Papa. Don't ever forget that. Papa.
I don't know. Most people like to think of simple versions of words that start with a letter. I like to think of the most complicated words.
Oh, man. Okay. Now, that was one hell of a DD session we just had.
That was pretty sick, Cop.
I think it's time to move on to Stocks in Focus.
I like that.
You like that?
I do.
Good choice.
You like that? I just call it, we only have a few minutes left, so I'm going to let Haas go first with stocks that he has in focus. Haas, go ahead, sir.
Yikes. Well, one that I've been watching over the past couple of weeks, Stevia Corp, STEV, starting to heat up again. You guys know it ramped up from sub-dollar to over that $2 range and, dropped almost all the way down to $1. And now the volume's starting to come back, a couple million in volume today, up 20% to $1.53. So I'm looking for that volume to continue. And I think we'll get close to that $2 range again at the very least. So keep your eye on that if you want a quick flip. Stock Spotlight last night, MMTE. Also keeping that one on close watch. The Stock Spotlight kind of hinted at some stuff to come in the near future, and we saw some major volume again today, 145 million in volume, up 11% at 001, but we're still kind of in that range of 0.08 to 0012. So we're looking for that to break out of that range. Also, just came across my radar within the last couple hours here, Proteonomics. Ticker PROT. Look at that chart since early December. From under 50 cents to $3.30 today, up another 40% today. Not massive volume, but you got over $1 million in buying volume coming today, which is pretty expensive. So there's likely something big coming there in the near future. They work with some end-stage liver disease drugs. So you know how those bios go when they got a drug that's hot and heavy. These stocks can run to who knows where, especially when they got a nice share structure like Prot does. And the final one that I got on my watch list for tonight is Sino Payments, ticker SNPY. Rebounded, not rebounded, more accumulations today with some pretty good volume, 3 million in buying volume today, finished up about 7%. If you look at the chart over the last, week and a half, there's been some pretty steady accumulation on the way up. They just announced today they signed a pretty big agreement with one of their merger partners, Cap Investment Group. Basically what these guys do is basically credit and debit card processing over in the Asian markets. And they just, signed on a big deal with like a bank and stuff to issue their services out to their clients and stuff like that. So Just wanted to keep on your radar. They're talking multi-million dollars in revenues coming in the near future. And the accumulation says put your eyes on it ASAP.
Okay, fantastic. Now, if you wish to call into the show, the telephone number is 347-215-7181. And, of course, as it says on the homepage, you can interact with the show in the Stock Traders Talk chat room. Now, Mr. Kopp, you got anything that you're watching this week? I
like 7 Arts Entertainment, Inc. I think Peter Hoffman had that interview today. It's got a lot of good stuff. I mean, we've been tracking that play for a while from the 30-cent area to 40, and it goes up. It's pretty liquid. But today it started getting some huge amount of attention, and I like, you guys know how I play. I want to see where the money goes. When the money comes in, it means we're never going to be the first people to know. Okay, so when the money goes someplace, follow the money. It's pretty simple logic and very simple. Stick to your trading rules and put in your stops. Find out what you're. When you go in and you're buying a stock, know what your exit plan is. Know that before you buy it. And then adjust that based off what's actually happening there. I think we nailed MMTE to almost perfectly. I think we had only one or two ticks up. So we got that pretty good. The other play I was watching was the SRGE. I don't know much about that.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
Yeah, but 300% up on a move of $87 million is not too bad. I mean, that's moving pretty good. So it's got some attention. And the other one I'm looking at is DKGR, which closed at 0.0008, but that had 40 million in volume, and that was another one that was 300% up. I don't normally, I like looking, setting the scanners for unusual volume, but the thing that kind of makes those two interesting is, is it a train or is it just a pump and dump? So what I would do is I'd 10:30 in the morning, I'd be sitting in my computer. Yes, I know the market opens at 9:30, but if you trade from 9:30 to 10:30, you're definitely risk averse. I would see what happens. Hopefully you get like a little pullback, and if it gives it to you and it drops down to that, back down to the 100% area to where, like in that stock, 8 all the way down to maybe 4.3, I'm a buyer, and then I'll flip it at 6. That's knowing that other people will average down and they'll be trying to do that. But that's where I'm at, and I'm a potentially new investor in PAOS. I like that stock.
Hey, Cop, I got a budget in here. SRGE, did you see the news today?
No, I didn't. I just hit a scanner on it.
Mathers Research came out with a speculative buy opinion and a near-term price target of 20 cents per share, trading at 0015 right now.
Nice.
Oh, either they better be right or they're lying. Holy crap! 20 cents.
If you're going to exaggerate, would you exaggerate that much? That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yes.
Okay. Don't forget AAPL earnings out tomorrow. We'll be back on the air tomorrow night with a CEO interview. From us here to you there, wishing you the best in the market tomorrow. This is Stock Traders Talk Radio, and we are out. Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio. All views and topics talked about on Stock Traders Talk Radio is solely for entertainment purposes. We are not professional financial advisors and always recommend you seek the advice of a professional financial advisor. Never invest in any stock featured on our show unless you can afford to lose your entire investment. The information contained on our show is based on sources which we believe to be reliable, but is not guaranteed by us as being accurate, and might not be a complete statement or summary of the available data. Stock Traders Talk Radio advises that the investments in companies profiled are commonly considered to be high risk, and use of the information provided is at the investor's sole risk. Thank you for listening to Stock Traders Talk Radio.